Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to give a little update on my reading year so far and my 2024 reading goals. I honestly have no idea what I'm talking about because I'm just gonna ramble in this video, so hopefully when I edit it everything will be coherent. But my reading goals for 2024 are literally so basic and so short. The first one is to read books that I actually like, which is such an obvious statement, but in the past I would force myself to read books even if I didn't really want to finish them, which is why this kind of gave me the permission to DNF a lot of books and to try and not feel guilty about that. And then my second goal was just to have less pressure when it comes to reading. If it takes me a long time to read a book, that's okay. I don't want to have a specific number of books that I want to read this year because I've always done that in the past and I feel like it's always stressed me out, which is why I set my reading goal to 10 books. So I just want to have fun when it comes to reading, and I feel like this is especially important when you make book content because I feel like there is also a lot of pressure when it comes to that and it can lead to burnout. So for me it's important that I'm able to make videos where I can, read those books but also really enjoy them. And so far, I feel like my goals have actually been met. I feel like I have really enjoyed a lot of the books that I read this year, and also I've actually read quite a lot despite not having a specific reading goal. So this year, I've read 106 books, which I know people are going to be like, oh, that's a lot, but usually each year I read around 100 books, so to me that's pretty normal. And when I was younger and I had more time, I used to be able to read 200 books. So again, reading these amount of books, it's not something that is highly unusual for me. I am surprised though that it is the middle of the year and I've already reached the 100% mark, because I swear in the past I felt like I struggled to reach that certain goal because there was this idea of reaching the 100% mark and me trying to force myself to read so that I could reach that goal. This year so far I have DNF'd 19 books, which I think is the most books that I've DNF'd ever in a year. Like, this is the most that I've ever DNF'd in my life. So there are certain books that I definitely felt like I could have read and I could come back to it in the future, but it's a question of do I actually want to or not, because in that moment of DNFing it there's a reason why that I did not choose to finish it. But a lot of these books also have kind of been on my TBR list for a pretty long time, which is just interesting to kind of see when I finally read it and I don't exactly enjoy it compared to the expectations that I have of it. Is an interesting thing, the fact that obviously when you grow up your reading taste change, but I swear a lot of the books in my Goodreads want to read list are books that have been there, I swear, since like 2016. And obviously right now my reading taste has changed, but I cannot let those books go because I'm like, what if they're good books? What if I end up enjoying it? So hopefully I do actually make my way through them. But I think another issue as well is when you hear about so many new releases that are coming out and everyone is talking about it, you also want to read it. So then I end up reading it and then I don't end up reading any of the books that are in my TBR. So at this point it's just like a never ending cycle. Like, I'm never gonna read those books. And I swear in the past I used to have 1,000 books in my want to read list because I would just add any books without knowing what they're about. If the cover is pretty, I would add it. And that's probably why I don't have, I guess, the motivation to read them either. I'm holding onto those books so badly at this point. I do really hope that I'm able to get through them. I basically started a journal, which is this cute little journal. I want to make a journaling video in the future, but basically this pretty purple journal from Leuchtturm where I put stickers on it, but I basically wrote down all the books that I've read this year so far, which is quite a lot of books, okay? I've saved space for it, and I basically did this thing where I put these keys in the bottom. So the red is reread, The yellow stars is 5 stars, and then this is UNEF. I wrote down all these books halfway through the year, so I don't even know if the dates are correct or anything, but I just looked at my Goodreads and tried to copy everything down. Let's talk about some of the books that I gave a 5-star to, which this does not include books that I've reread. First, we have The Fake Mate, which one of my favorite romance books that I've read this year. It's basically a mega first book, which I know people have an aversion to that, but it's my thing. And we basically have like a fake dating trope, but I really enjoyed this one because of how the characters communicated with each other, and I just really liked the way that the relationship developed and how it was not as cliche as the other, because it's a sunshine kind of grumpy romance. However, there is a reason why the guy is cold and grumpy. He's not just like that because it's his personality, if that makes sense. There's a reason why, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed this book. I think that I really like Omegaverse books because they have a reason for them to fall in love, if that makes sense, depending on the way that the whole law, I guess, is written. I did also read quite a lot of manhwas, which I didn't actually include all of them in the list. I recently started including them in my Goodreads. I do like reading manhwas though, because they're just really easy to read. Like, they're pictures, they're pretty pictures, and the stories are also really good. I'm really into reading isekai. This was a transmigration, which is basically the thing where, I don't know, they die in real life and then they get transported into another world. Transmigration. I don't really know if that's the right word, but it's the one where you die and then you go into like the world of a book. You basically become a character in this other world, and I swear all of them are the same thing because it's always them becoming the villain. But I don't know why. I eat it up all the time, and this one I really enjoyed because I just remember it was the hair holding for me. It was the guy caressing the girl's hair that did it for me. I also gave her 5 stars. I gave both of them 5 stars, which was volume 2 and volume 3. I really enjoy them, but I'm never gonna read. I'm joking. I am gonna read it, but I'm not gonna read it until it finishes because I honestly cannot handle it. Something about the 3rd volume does it for me, and I'm scared to see how it continues because, oh my god, the scene that constantly haunts me is the wonton scene, which if you read volume 3 you would know, and that scene absolutely breaks my heart. I read the book, what was it, last month? 2 months ago, and I still think about this scene. Just the revelation of it absolutely broke my heart. Ooh, another great Danmei recommendation is Little Mushroom, Judgment Day, and Revelation. This book is so cute but also not. It's really interesting. It's very different from other Danmei books where it's basically, it's a post-apocalyptic world. It's one of those scenarios where there is, I don't know, this radiation or something happens where there are a bunch of these monsters and humans have to go out and hunt these monsters, otherwise, you know, they will run over the world. But if you get attacked by these monsters and they bite you or something, they can then turn into monsters themselves. And there is this place where obviously the humans live in, but every single time they go into the city they have to be checked whether or not they are infected. And then there is this guy called what's it called, Aribator? That could totally be wrong because sometimes when I read it I completely just like skip over words. He has, I guess, the ability to pick out who is infected, and he has the role of shooting people before they enter the city. And oh, this is so good because the Little Mushroom is literally the cutest thing ever, and it has this whole like sci-fi element which is super interesting to read. I don't really know, I really just love reading Danmei books for the atmosphere that they give. It's just a vibe. The vibe is very different from reading Western books. If only more of them were translated, I would read all of them. I also read Kami-sama Kiss, the whole volumes from 1 to 25. Absolutely love that manga. I feel like it's just such a nostalgic thing for me, especially because I watched the anime when I was younger, and the last volume is literally so bittersweet to me. I cried when reading it just because it's a happy ending and everything, but just the way that it ended as well just made me feel so upset. But this is just a really fun manga to read. It really focuses on the whole aspect of, I guess, the fantasy element, but at the same time it does include romance, and the romance is, I would say, it's kind of angsty. I also read The Apothecary Diaries. I read all of them. Not all of them. I read volume 1 to 10. I didn't give 5 stars, I think, to the first 2 volumes, but for the rest of them I did, and I really enjoyed reading it so far, so I'm excited to read the rest of the volumes once they are translated. I'm really excited to watch the anime because I loved season 1. That's basically the thing that got me into The Apothecary Diaries. It's really good. It includes mystery, romance. It's just a really interesting anime to watch, and the art as well, so beautiful. I honestly don't know how people are able to talk for this long. Like, my throat hurts so much. Anyways, I even have pictures of The Apothecary Diaries on my Kindle because every single time I change like my Kindle case, I like putting things that I'm really into. So I always have Heaven's Official Blessing, and then I always have K-pop. Yeah, Heaven's Official Blessing, Apothecary Diaries, Renjin, Apothecary Diaries, and Shenyun, and then I think I have like a Raven Cycle quote, and then I also have a Heaven's Official Blessing quote. So every single time I change my cover, I always like putting stuff that I like on it, including stickers. I love these holographic stickers. I don't even know what I was talking about because the camera stopped filming halfway through. This video is truly just like a ramble video, me rambling about books. But going to the rest of my 5-star books, because I got sidetracked, I actually didn't really give any other. I think after, oh yes, now I remember, I gave a 5-star to In Another Life, which was a bonus chapter to the Strike the Sita duology. If you read that duology, read the bonus chapter because it's really cute. But other than that, I didn't really give any 5 stars to any new books that I've read. But a lot of the books that I have read are rated pretty highly. But this year, I have really enjoyed other books that I read, which I'm really happy about, and that's one of my goals. I feel like another reading goal I should have made was to try and finish reading all the series that I'm in the middle of and try to expand on the genres that I've read, because I literally only read fantasy and romance, and I feel like I should expand. Maybe in the future I would try making a video about me expanding on my genres because, you know, I'm getting older. Maybe I will like them more. This is basically a list of series that I need to finish, and I have this on my notes app, right? I didn't think it was that long. Okay, I thought it was just a few of them, but no, it's actually like the whole page. I'm really gonna try and get through them. Like my reading list, I have keys. I have this, I don't want to finish it and then complete it. So these series, I don't want to finish anymore because I tried reading them. I ended up DNFing the books, and I was like, so I am gonna try to complete these series before studying new ones, but I don't think that's actually gonna happen. That's basically how my year of reading has been going so far. I'm really enjoying it. I cannot wait to see the rest of the books that I'm gonna read. I have so many books that I want to get through, but I just don't have enough time, and I feel so sad, and I cannot believe it's already in the middle of the year because I swear the start of the year was not even that long ago. I feel like I sound so tired, but I guarantee you it's just because I talk so much in this video